and welcome to my channel. Welcome to Autotelic Drive. In this episode, I would like to talk about peak performance. My name is Pauline Dugald. I have been a peak performance coach for about 5 years now, and I love this concept because it expresses so much. And I want to actually talk a little bit about what is peak performance to me and what it is that I try to achieve with it. So the peak performance concept used to mean to me everything that had to do with the performance within the sphere of work, the productivity, the output of things and systems, the creation of goals and achieving them. But as I have progressed in my studies and in my practice, I have learned to see peak performance as a much broader understanding. So when I talk about peak performance now, what I talk about is being optimally set up and aligned with who you are and what it is that you're doing so that you can achieve the results that are aligned with your higher self version of where you're going. Not just achieving short-term goals for your external pleasure or for your immediate needs. Those are important. And performance and productivity in that realm of just achieving immediate goals is important still. But when I look at peak performance now, it's more from the perspective of where can you ultimately get to through this process of aligning yourself with your values and your goals and systems and your purpose. What is your purpose, essentially? Your purpose is to be fully yourself as much as you can in every moment of your daily life. And for that, there are a number of things that require to happen, and you're required to set up certain systems in order to continuously operate within that alignment, which is some of them are boundaries, some of them is clarity in where it is that you're going and why. Why question is quite important because if you don't know why you're trying to get somewhere, what would motivate you to really create a path towards it? So it's very important to know the reasons and what's beyond those reasons. The motivations that are sometimes hidden often slow us down and prevent us from really moving at full speed because sometimes those motivations can be hidden. They could be positioned against each other. And so understanding those underlying patterns is what I have spent the last 5 years working on with my clients and with myself to help them understand what is driving them forward. What are the motivations? What are the reasons? Because once you understand the negative beliefs that are present, that are motivating you to do certain thing, and once you release those negative beliefs and rewrite them, then you can actually move a lot faster. It's almost like removing friction. Well, it's not almost, it is definitely like removing friction from your process. And that increases your speed because the less things that are in a way, the faster you can go. Your mind is really designed to keep you safe and survive. That is the role of your mind and the ego. And all the structures and all the beliefs and all the systems come from that place. So understanding what those structures are, how they came about, and what they represent is the beginning of clearing out the path so that the flow can happen. And I often talk about flow state because it's one of those things that it goes by different names. Sometimes it's called being in the zone. Actors call it being in the pocket, the perfect moment, whatever it is that you want to define it as. But we have this understanding of what flow state is, and we have certain science elements that can be applied to make it replicatable. So being part of this understanding for myself, learning the flow state basics and the neuroscience basics and the science behind all of that helped me to understand how to align better, how to create this alignment between values and goals. And that is what I want to explore more today. One of the things that has fascinated me for a long time has been this polarity between creative and analytical. Being an artist myself, I've always strove to express myself creatively, fully create this presentation, this expression of authenticity through art or any other ways of creative expression. That was very important to me all the time. But at the same time, I always worked on being as efficient as I could, which means being logical, analytical, process driven, and leaning on structures. And so, over my journey of life, as I have been integrating this polarity of creative and analytical, I have learned a lot of aspects that I find very interesting, how they correlate and how they are expressed in the world. I found things that, first of all, the resonance of frequency concept. If you think about it, when you throw one pebble into the pond and it creates waves, and then you create second pebble in the same place, those waves can get bigger if they are resonant, if they match, if they are not intersecting. If the same pebble falls into the same spot twice, it will amplify the waves. And the same thing happens when the interactions of different expressions comes together. And that is what I refer to as the resonance of frequency. When you are doing something that you love and you meet another person who is doing something that they love and your interests correlate, they are on the same wavelength, they're in the same pathway, on the same page, you find this amplification of resonance. You like each other more, you understand each other better, the communication flows much more freely. And that is what I call resonance amplification. But at the same time, what goes at this in parallel to that is the polarity, masculine, feminine, logical and creative, plus and minus, day and night, black and white. We live in a duality world, so this is what is present. And when one side brings the positive charge and the other side brings negative charge, not relating it to the negativity or positivity, just the physical component of it, more towards and more it's more of a concept of moving forward or receiving. Creativity is all about openness. It's about being open to inspiration, being open to receiving the ideas, but then the positive component comes in, which is action. So when you are receiving an idea and you're being open and trusting it, and you're able to move into action and actually do something with that idea, that is the polarity integrated. And that can create effect of moving forward, achieving your goals, but also that is where the resonance amplification comes into play, because if you are able to receive certain ideas, certain inspiration, and act on them, and then do it together with other people who are doing it also, then you amplify the frequency among you, among the group that you're part of, and together you're moving forward. So it's like they say, if you want to move fast, you go by yourself. If you want to if you want to go far, you go together. Because being together and amplifying that resonance actually creates more sustainability for a long term. And that creates a mini community and increases the complexity. One of the things that we are observing right now is increase in data, increase in information, and increase in complexity. And the only thing that is needed or missing is more collaboration when that complexity increases. Because when you just adding more stuff and it's not resonant and it's chaotic and it's not in harmony, it really can't go together. But when it is harmonized, when it is on the same wavelength, it then amplifies each other, and that complexity drives the process further so much better. Let me know if this makes sense. I would love to know, in your opinion, your ideas, or your reflections of how this information is landing about what I'm speaking about. This has really been at the heart of my work, at the heart of my practice, how to help people integrate their own creativity and analytics better, how to really help them achieve that resonant amplification so that they can really reach those goals that they're trying to reach and for the right reasons. And so the reason why I'm speaking about is because I'm very passionate about this idea of performing at higher levels, at being more effective, but at the same time, also deriving more joy from that process and not just being a cog in the machine. And so, with that, I'm going to leave it here. Let me know how this lands. Let me know what you think. And if you want me to discuss something else that is related to peak performance, that is related to how the integration of two opposites work in this world, let me know. I'm more than happy to explore this concept. But for now, I leave you with this. And if you have any questions, let me know. Also, if you would like to download the quick short list that I created, which is a checklist for peak performance, I will link it below. It is a one-pager that really summarizes all the things that you need to pay attention to in order to reach your peak performance. And it can be done at any scale. It could be done on a micro scale or a macro scale. It just gives you the framework and the structure on one page that helps you to identify what areas to tune up in order to perform better. So the link will be in the comments. And also, please subscribe and share and like the video. It helps the channel and it helps me to promote this content to more people who can find it useful. So thank you very much, and I will see you next time. Bye.